Greetings, my fellow vampire enthusiasts. I'm going to be doing a video today on a topic that is very, very close to my cold, dead, black heart, and that's vampires. I love vampires. I want to be a vampire, so if anybody knows any, send them my way. Once the vampire apocalypse starts, I'll be the first one to get bitten, hopefully. But, you know, enough of my mental state. I also love reading about vampires, and I've read a lot of vampire books. A lot of vampire books. So I'm always on the hunt for books that A, I haven't read, but also B, that are maybe a little bit different. And again, there's a lot of very famous vampire books that kind of do the rounds on the booktube and the book talks and everybody kind of talks about those. Obviously, the queen of vampire books, Ms. Anne Rice. I've got my Anne Rice collection, loads of them, and I'll go through that actually on a separate kind of occasion. And there's a lot of series and things that are quite popular. But what I wanted to do today was talk about some vampire books you have never probably heard of. So you may have heard of one or two of these, but I think these are the slightly more obscure ones, and they are all on my TBR for the spooky season. So one of my favorite spooky activities is reading vampire books while it's spooky. Anyway, you know what I mean. So moving on, let's talk about the stack of books I've got here. So the first one, I'm fairly certain most people have not heard of this, and if you have, tell me, please. So this is Ilia, and this is by Tara Van Flower. Now, I think Tara Van Flower, first of all, criminally underrated. She is a musician, but she also writes incredible books, and I don't have the copy with me at the moment, but she writes another series called the Violet series, and what I'll do is I might, again, do a separate video just on Tara Van Flower, but that one's also got vampires in it. But this one, Ilia, is basically a book, and I've started reading this one, so I won't have to redo the synopsis, is about Ilia, who is a centuries-old vampire, and basically this is like an epic of her life. It talks, she kind of walks through her entire life and her, her great love, and all of the things she's had to conquer in her very, very long, tortured existence as a vampire. Tara Van Flower's writing is beautiful. Like I said, criminally underrated. I think if you like Anne Rice, you would like this. So this is Ilia. Like I said, Violets is the other series she does, but Ilia by Tara Van Flower. So then the next one, and this one kind of going from the dark, because I like it dark, but sometimes we need a little sparkler sunshine. So this one is Bless Your Heart by Linda Ryan. Now, first of all, I fucking love this cover. That makeup, it's brilliant. It's so kind of 60s Valley of the Dolls sort of thing. But this one I saw, and also look at the puncture wounds on the sides, brilliant. This one I saw in Waterstones on the table, and I was like, what is this? Because I just liked the cover, and then realised it was a vampire novel. And again, I think I've heard one person mention this, but I really haven't heard a lot of people. So this is Rise and Shine, the Evans women have some undead to kill. It's 1999, brilliant, love that, 90s again, in Southwest Texas, and the Evans women, owners of the only funeral parlour in town, are keeping steady with normal business. The dead die, you bury them. End of story. Hello, 6 Feet Under vibes, great. That's how Darcy Evans and her progeny have run the Evans funeral parlour for the last 15 years, without drama, ever since the god-awful mess that left 2 bodies in the ground. I want to know what that drama was all about. But when town gossip Mina Jean Murphy's body is brought in for a regular burial, and she rises from the dead instead, it's clear that the Strigoi, the original vampire, are back, and the Evans women are the ones who need to fight back to protect their town. So this is giving me Southern Book Club, was it Southern Book Club for Slaying Vampires, the Grady Hendrix novel vibes, which is great. It sounds like it's going to be darkly funny. That kind of almost like cozy, if you could call a vampire book cozy, kind of that cozy vampire book vibes. I think this is, I'm so looking forward to reading this. Like I said, this is Grady Hendrix meets 6 Feet Under. I just, love. Okay, then the next one, this is Scarlet, and this is by Genevieve Cogman, yeah. And I've read another Genevieve Cogman book, and I'm trying to remember which it was, but it was something to do with a library. I think Invisible Library it was called. I didn't know how beautiful is that cover. I didn't know that this series existed, and I picked this up in my Waterstones as well. And it says France, 1793, revolutionaries want blood, but vampires bite back. So French Revolution, and there's vampires. Revolutionary France is no place to be, especially for aristocratic... Sorry, I had too much blood for lunch. Aristocratic vampires facing the guillotine. I mean, yeah, yes. I love that. Then, okay. So, I'm not really sort of a pulpy romance reader. I like my romance dark than gothic. But this just, I mean, could I leave this? This is Forever Vampire by Michael Hauff. It's a Mills and Boon. This is so out of my comfort zone. But I saw this in charity shop, I think it was £1, and I was like, well, you know what, it's about vampires. I've never heard of this, I'm sure most people haven't, and it's an undying quest for revenge. Val is a pure-blood vampire, but raised by fairy. He has neither home nor peace, and when he's enlisted to track a paranormal thief, Val's prince prices information, specifically the whereabouts of his accused father. His goal is revenge, and the supernatural, sexy Lyric, the icy blonde vampiress he's assigned to work with, is a distraction he can't afford. So to be fair, because I love anything fairy and fae as well, but again, I love my fairies more in sort of the holly black, I like darker fairies. But, you know, I mean, if I was ever going to read a Mills and Boon book, I can get behind this one. So there you go. As a vampire. Then, this one may be a little bit more known, but again, I have not, besides being like on anticipated reading lists, I haven't heard a lot of people talk about this one yet. So this is Mistress of Lies. First of all, I mean, let's call this a cover buy, right? I just how freaking beautiful is that? Sorry, I just want to see what the naked book's not exciting. But that cover is absolutely stunning. And this one basically is... what was it? It was about a villainous heroine finds herself plunged into a seductive world of power, politics, and murder in the court of the Vampire King in this bloodthirsty debut. I mean, it's a lot. I won't read this, but that sounds very good. I mean, I just like, this is kind of taking me into my fantasy. This is giving me, so, spoiler, and I will talk about this extensively in another video. My new favorite thing in the world is, oh god, I can't even think of this. I don't know what's wrong with me today, honestly. It's Carissa Broadbent's series Serpent in the Wings of Night. Yes, it's amazing. So this is kind of giving me those vibes, and it's got Age of Blood 1 on it, so I'm guessing it's going to be a series, but I don't know what this is going to be, but it sounds fantastic. Right, moving on. So another one probably haven't heard of, and this is an older one. This is called Dracula My Love by Siri James, and this is the secret journals of Mina Harker. So Mina Harker is the kind of the love interest in the Dracula novels. So this is kind of going back to the original Dracula story, and this is basically kind of through her journals. So I just thought that was a great take on it. And again, I love Dracula, but anything that kind of takes that Dracula story and slightly twists it or gives a new perspective on it, I love all that. And again, that's going to be a whole video, because otherwise I don't like doing videos that are too long, so that's going to be a whole video. But I just thought this is kind of being added too much. It's in really bad condition. It's a second-hand book. Could not get this, I don't think it's out of print at the moment, but this is going to add to my sort of canon of reads based on that kind of Dracula universe. And also speaking of Dracula, side note, Nosferatu. Oh my gosh, I was at cinema last night watching Cuckoo, which again, that is really, really good. I've been holding off on the book because I actually wanted to see the film first, because the books tend to be better and I didn't want to have the film tainted for me. But I enjoyed the film, and now I definitely need to read the book. So I might do a video on that, actually comparing the two. But they had the trailer for the new Nosferatu film in there, and oh my goodness, I cannot wait. So anyway, then this one, I am pretty sure most people haven't heard of this one. Little Vampire Women. I know, this is my comic relief in all the dark. So, Little Vampire Women. As you can imagine, this is basically a vampire take on Little Women. Christmas wouldn't be Christmas without any corpses, it says on the back. That's just fantastic. I will keep this one as one of my Christmas reads, because this is the type of thing I like reading at Christmas. I love Christmas horror. And that just, I mean, it's yeah, enough said on that. Then this one. So did you know that George R.R. Martin, it's double R, isn't it? George R.R. Martin, who wrote Game of Thrones, wrote a steampunk vampire book? Did everybody know that? Anyway, here it is. It's George R. R. Martin's Fever Dream, spelled F-E-V-R-E. And I don't know how I came across this, but I didn't know that. And now I was like, I need to purchase this. And actually, I got this from, I did a video on independent bookstores from a bookstore that does sort of overruns and kind of everything is at lower prices. And I think that Vampire Woman and this one came from that shop, so I was really excited about that. But it basically says, Abner Marsh has had his dearest wish come true. He has built the Fever Dream, the finest steamship ever to sail the Mississippi. Abner hopes to race the boat someday, but his partner is making it hard for him to realize his ambition. Joshua York put up the money for the Fever Dream, but now rumors have started about the company he keeps, his odd eating habits, and strange hours. As the dream sails the great river, it leaves in its wake one too many dark tales until Abner is forced to face down the man who helped his dream become reality. So I think his partner's a vampire. I just also, that's so cool. Look at that car. I am hugely looking forward to that. Also Louisiana, I love anything set in kind of Louisiana and New Orleans. And then the last one I've got, again, I have not heard, I'm sure someone has, but I've never heard anyone talking about this. And this sounds really great. So this is Cruel Illusions by Margaret Thurston. And I did sort of like the cover. Basically, there is how I bought this one was I was because I work in London a couple of days a week, and I was kind of in the train station W.H. Smith, just kind of waiting for the train and looking at books as I do. And I sort of picked this up. I was like, oh, that looks interesting. Let me read. And I opened it, and at the bottom it said, Caraval meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So I was like, just say what? And the girl that works in the shop behind me went, oh yeah, I've read that. That's true. It's really good. Like, because I was like, a lot of things say like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, FYI, favorite TV program ever, and they're not. And she was like, no. Like, it's really good. So I basically just bought the book based on the fact that she said that. But I just think this sounds really good. Okay, this is a YA, but it sounds fantastic. So it says, ever since a vampire murdered her mother, Ava has been determined to get revenge. But 10 years later, having survived foster home after foster home and without a single sighting of a vampire, Ava's begun to lose hope. That is until she stumbles across a hidden magic show where she witnesses impossible illusions. The magicians may not be the bloodsuckers she's hunting, but Ava's convinced something supernatural is afoot. I think that just sounds wonderful. And like I said, I've not heard anybody kind of talking about this book. So in the back it says, a deadly competition, a magical secret society, and a chance for revenge. And actually, side note, I was talking about my new favorite fantasy books, and those three things actually basically encompass everything that I love in a lot of books, but in fantasy. So I love anything where there's like a tournament or competition. I love secret societies in the occult, and a chance for revenge. I kind of like somebody, yeah, I like revenge, particularly if it's a woman. So I love someone kind of hunting you down and taking their revenge. I love this. So I think this is going to be great. So anyway, that was my list of vampire books you've never heard of, and I'm hoping that there are some that you've never heard of in there and that you got something valuable out of that. And I'm planning on reading all of those. I need to actually get an immortal life because I have a lot of books I need to read. Anyway, thank you so much for sticking with me. Comment a vampire emoji if you have stuck to the end of the video, and I will speak to you all very soon. Bye.